My name is Stephen Maldonado, member of City Tribe, co-leader of Brothers of Courage. For a few seasons, I've been around for a couple of years, going on 3 years now with the church, and it's brought a lot to my life, a lot of change to my life. God's done a lot through me, through the church for me. So yeah, I just want to put a lot of emphasis on serving. As you'll hear a lot here at church, we need a lot of men to serve because that's what we're called to do. We're called to do. A lot of us don't want to do. A lot of us are nervous, or we don't. We feel like we can't do it. I don't have that task. I mean, I don't have that ability or that talent, right? A lot of things I didn't know I could do before I got here. So yeah, so I'll get started. I'll start with, I guess, a little bit of my testimony, just fast forwarding through my childhood and everything. So in 2001, shortly before that, I was doing a lot of drugs, selling a lot of drugs, and I can honestly say, not proud of it. I was serving the enemy. I was serving the enemy hard. I mean, I was serving hard. I was selling a lot of drugs. I was doing a lot of drugs. I was womanizing. I was treating women like crap. Everything you can think of. I mean, I was involved in a lot of stuff. Um, it brought me. It didn't get me anywhere. It put me in prison. Again, a lot of y'all know that about me, and the ones who don't. And I say that I'm not proud of. I talk about prison a lot, and I've explained to some people. I talk about it because it was a big turning point in my life. Um, it changed my life. It changed my life. So sorry. I say that because there's guys that have been there before, that have been to jail, prison, federal prison, state penitentiary, state jail, and a lot of people think that there's nothing to do after that. That that's all there is. Um, so when I got to prison, I made the decision to. I mean, those of y'all who've been there know that you can either serve God, find God, choose that road, or you can gangbang. That's it. Really, that's all you can do. Um, I did all that other stuff all my life. I said I got nowhere else to go. Here I am, God. I started serving Him at that moment. I started trying to spread the word, educating myself on the word, and just serve Him any way I could. I didn't have. You'd be surprised at things that you can do in jail. The way you can serve God. You can just do so much. You can. They have a little worship team. Um, they have ministry. They have ministry in there. But anyway, fast forwarding through that, I served God. I served Him in there. I transformed my way of, or God transformed my way of thinking, my way of life into, wanting to have a plan when I got out. And, you know, going back to my BC days, right? I always told myself, I don't know how people can sit there all day at church, sit there and just work for free. I mean, there's other things, better things I could be doing, right? So then when I got to prison, when before I got out, I had a plan. I wanted to do something to change, people's lives if I could, or just plant a seed at least. So I went and Pastor Doug wrote to me a few times. We wrote back and forth. And this is where I knew I wanted to be. I wanted to serve in church. I wanted to serve at City Church. And I can honestly say, when I think about my experience and making the decision to want to be here at City Tribe when I was in prison, and I'm not saying this because he's my brother and I love him and everybody loves him, but Justin's face and Justin's smile at that door before I went to prison is what I remember. That's all I remember. I said, I wonder if that guy's still there. And he introduced me to a lot. He helped me out a lot, just getting connected and involved. So yeah, that's part of my testimony and how I served before and how I serve now. And so I'll get right into it. So starting verse, the key verse, the Son of Man. Well, actually, you know what? I'll let Hector read this one.
Uh, the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. Mark 10:45.
Right. That's amazing, right? Because most men want to be served. We think of serving, right? Jesus came, he came to do that for us. He wanted to glorify his Father. He wanted to come, and his whole purpose was just to serve us. Um, it's a selfless act. It's a great scripture. I love it. Um, Brings us to what do you think of greatness? What do you think of greatness? What comes to mind, right? Power, fame, and a towel in a basin of water. Um, Going back to, and I'm going to use myself as an example for a lot of this stuff because I think a lot of people can relate. Power, fame, towel in a basin of water, right? I thought, and I have my notes here. Sorry, guys, I'm going to look at my notes here. Um, before before I found God, or before I established a relationship with God in Christ, I was a drug dealer. I was living all that life, and I expected to be served. I expected to be served. I mean, I had people ready to do what I wanted, when I wanted, anything I wanted. So sometimes it took money, sometimes it didn't, but it didn't matter. They were there at my beck and call to do whatever I wanted to do. That was my idea. That's what came to my mind when it came to greatness: money, power, respect, and women, and that made me who I was back then, and that gave me a lot of confidence. Um, now, it's serving others. Um, I'm gonna give out. I gave out one verse to Hector. I have two more that I'm gonna let others. I'll take two volunteers. They won't come just yet. Um, I'm sorry, Jay. Uh, when the time comes, I'll let you know. It's gonna be James 2:17, and just one more volunteer. Uh, Kenny, I'll let you go, Kenny. It'll be Philippians 2:3-5. Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to be served in my marriages and in my life, in everything I did, because I was a man, right? And that's what I thought. That's what I. That's what I thought it was. I thought being married meant I was gonna. She was gonna cook for me. She was gonna clean for me. She was gonna clean up my mess, clean up after me. She was gonna do everything for me, rub my feet when I wanted it, And now, obviously, the mindset is different. Um, we don't think of that a lot. Okay, sorry, what was his name? Jay. I keep forgetting your name, Jay. If you could read James 2:17. Right. So what this means, faith, right? So we have our faith. It reflects in our actions. We could say we have faith. We have faith in God, and again, from my experience, we believe in God, and we trust Him, and we have faith, and we know He's going to be there and do things for us. But it reflects when we show actions, right? When we go out and we serve, we do things for others. We find things to do. We seek it. It's hard to sometimes, it's hard to do that because, again, going back to what am I going to get out of this, right? Why am I going to take time from my day to go out and do something for someone, and are they going to pay me, or are they going to, well, next time I need a favor, they better be there for me, right? That's most of our mindsets, a lot of times, before, even as Christ followers, we think like that sometimes. I used to think that was the first thing I thought when somebody called me. Oh, I know this dude needs a favor. He's going to owe me something in the future. Doesn't matter what it is. I know I have him right here. And that's the wrong way to think. That's, as a Christ follower, we don't think like that. Um, Serving isn't just helping out; it's central to the gospel. Meaning, that's like a foundation of the gospel, right? That's just the main purpose why Jesus came down to die on the cross, to a selfless act, to give all His life, go through the pain and the suffering for us, to pay for our sins, so we won't have to pay for that, right? Um, and this one right here, I like. Jesus redefined leadership as service. That's beautiful, because before I became I guess, a Christ follower, more involved with church leadership. To me, leadership meant I got to tell people what to do. It meant I got to tell people how to dictate at work, right? Leader, I get to tell. I have guys under me. They're below me. They're beneath me, and they have to do what I say because I get paid more money, because I have the experience, because I know what I'm doing, and these guys are coming and they're looking to me, and they have to follow me, and I've taken advantage of it in the past before, just because I have the authority to tell somebody what to do, and they had to do it, and if they didn't like it, I'd get rid of them, I'd run them off, send them somewhere else. We got pleasure out of that. But that's why I like he defined leadership as a service, because again, leadership isn't, again, I learned this here at City Tribe. Leadership isn't about dictating or telling people what to do. It's about setting an example for other people, for the men around you. Or, well, I say men around you, but you can still impact women around you, right? Again, we're leaders. We're leaders in our home. We're called to do that. And if we're following Christ, they're going to follow. If they want a godly man, if they're a godly woman, they're going to follow you no matter what. If you're doing the right things by God, by Jesus, and you're going to him first, right? So leadership as a service. Our faith is shown in action, again, in action. Um, we can have faith, we can pray to God, and we can get our blessings, but how often is that going to keep happening if we're not putting it into action, right? Um, right here, I like this one too. We don't serve because it's a nice thing to do. We serve because Jesus served and told us to follow his example, right? Sometimes it's hard. You know, we're going to be called to do things that we don't want to do sometimes, and we just have to suck it up, right? Good example in home. Our wife asks us to do something. We got to cut the grass, right? You got to cut the grass, and man, I got to get up and cut the grass. Or you got to get up and do it before she tells you to do it, right? Cutting the grass, helping clean the house, whatever it is. I mean, I work 6 days a week. It's hard for me to get out there and cut the grass. I enjoy cutting my grass, but it takes all that away when I have to do it every Wednesday. You know what I mean? So when I can get out there and do it and enjoy it, I'll do it. But anyway, when you don't want her to tell you to do it, because then you're just like, all right, I got to do it. It's hard. It sucks, right? How Jesus served. He met practical needs. When the crowd was hungry, Jesus multiplied 5 loaves and 2 fish to feed. And we can do this again, serving, right? We can incorporate the way we serve to this. For example, something that came to my mind earlier today was like, you see somebody homeless, right? And I was talking about this today with a friend of mine. Um, I could have food in my fridge. I have resources, right? I have family. I have a dad. I got brothers at church here, And one of my brothers calls me and says, "Hey man, can I borrow $20 to feed my kids?" I mean, if they're asking for $20 to feed their kids, they don't have anything, right? But how you doing, brother? But is it going to really hurt you to give your last $20 to that person? It says put other people's needs before yours, right? Everybody's needs before yours. Is it going to hurt? You know what? If I can give $20 to Juan so he can feed his daughter and his wife, I'm going to give it to him because I know I can reach out. I know I can take care of my family. I'm not saying he can't, but he's humbling himself, right? He noticed people. Jesus stopped for the blind beggar, Bartimaeus, right? Mark 10:46-52. I'm not going to have anybody read. These are all long, pretty long, and I didn't have time to pull a couple out. Called to Zacchaeus out of the tree to show him love and acceptance. So we find those people, right? We find those people that we know they need love, right? They need to be nurtured. They need to know that somebody cares. That's another way of serving. Um, just like when we're here at church, right? We see somebody walking by. I've heard several stories from some of the guys here. You see somebody walking by just having a hard day, or you can just see it on them, and they're walking all by all these people back and forth, and nobody reaches out to them until that Brother Paul, he did it the other day. Somebody was having a hard time, and he looked like I I remember, I might be remembering wrong, but he said the dude, I think he wanted to like go hurt himself or something. He didn't know this until after he started talking to him. Walked up to him, hey brother, are you doing okay? Yeah, I'm having having a rough time right now. I don't remember the full story, but he was having a real rough time. He was going through it with his girl and or whatever it was, and he wanted to hurt himself. He pulled him aside and he started talking to him. He brought him into the cafe. He met some of the guys, and I think I think he said he was going to be here. Sorry if you're here. I'm telling you all your business, but it's just an example, of another selfless act. Serving. There's several ways you can serve. Um, Jesus humbled himself. On the night before his crucifixion, he washed disciples' feet, knowing he was going to go. Well, what was he going to get out of that, right? Well, I guess joy, right? Just serving his purpose to be here. Um, he knew he was going to go. He knew what he was going to do. He knew he was going to go through the pain, the suffering. He still did it, taking the role of a servant to teach humility and love before he left. For those, he might have touched somebody's heart right after that. You know, he went away. Of course, he came back, but he taught us to serve and teach humility and love. I mean, we're out here. We have to study that. We have to educate ourselves on that, and it's a good feeling. It brings a lot of joy. To the humility is a tough one. Anybody can fake love, but but can you really? I mean, you can fake it. You can act like you love somebody, but do you really mean it inside? He gave sacrificially. The greatest act of sacrifice was his death on the cross, laying down his life for the salvation of the world. Sacrificially, right? I mean, you're not going to go out there and jump in front of a bullet just for anything or anybody, right? You don't know the situation, but are we going to do that for our wife or our kids? I say it all the time. I mean, that's a sacrifice. That's to me, that's serving my wife, right? My wife, my kids. If I know something's going to happen to them, and I've been in this situation before where I could have easily put myself back in prison. I'm still on parole, and this is why I stay out. I'm on the safety team. I serve. I love that part of serving here, but I have to stay away from that because if something happens out there, just because I'm on the safety team, that doesn't mean they're going to get my back. The law is still the law. If I go out there and I hurt somebody because I'm protecting somebody, if that cop wants to, he can put me right back in prison, just like that. Um, so anyway, my point is getting to that. Getting to that is he gave sacrificially. Um, when we see somebody is potentially going to hurt our wife, or one of our children, a sister, and I use mostly, or a child with special needs, right? I mean, what are we going to do? We got to be the voice for them, right? That's what we're here to do. We're led to serve our wife and our kids as well as others, everybody, right? We got to protect our family. That's another one of the only sacrifices I'll make. Only reason I'll go back to prison or whatever, wherever they send me, right? Is if I'm protecting my wife or my kids, my dad, my mom. We can use our best judgment in that. Um, Otherwise, we could try to talk ourselves out of something, right? When we're around our brothers, just or something, like the other day, something happened over here, and that was a great example for anybody who was here and saw that. Justin was there. We've been having problems. Well, there's been several issues, but anyway, I won't get into that or who or what. But brother Josh was out there, and there was a whole bunch of us out there. And we were like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay away. I'm just gonna let him. He just keeps on talking and talking, do his thing, and he'll go away eventually, right? But he kept on, and he kept on, and kept on, and kept on. And Josh heard it all. He was over there. He was standing over there, and Josh, he walked up to the guy right afterwards, real calm, talked to him, and this was going on for about 30, 45 minutes. Josh walked up to him. He walked to. I'm. If anybody that knows Josh knows that Josh isn't loud or violent or anything like that. His way of handling things is it's amazing, right? Um, he walked up to him, talked to him for about 5 minutes, shook his hand. This dude didn't want to move his vehicle so somebody else could get out. Shook his hand. All right, talk to you later. Walked away, real calm, like nothing. About a minute or two later, the dude moved his truck. He was hesitant. I mean, he was adamant about not moving his truck on purpose. That's just another example, making that sacrifice. That dude could have been ready to shoot somebody, And there was two of them there. That dude could have been ready to shoot somebody, fight, anything could have happened to Josh. But he put himself in the middle of that by serving us, everybody else here, the men and the women that were here. He stood up and he sacrificed. He made that sacrifice to do that. Again, just another example. Okay, so examples of your area of service, ways to serve, what it looks like today, and how it reflects on Jesus' example. I can, you know what, I can, um, maybe we can get some volunteers to read this too. Y'all good with that? To read these, right? Okay. Acts of kindness. Can I get a volunteer? Gibby?
All right. Acts of kindness. What it looks like today: helping neighbors with groceries, offering a ride, or visiting the sick. How it reflects on Jesus' example. Jesus cared for people's daily needs and showed compassion. Matthew 14.
Right. And see, these are just examples. There's not a list. There's not a list of, you know, what it is you got to do to serve and it's for Jesus to reflect in you. And it's got to be this, help her with this, but not this. And it's just an act of service. Another volunteer. Okay, go ahead. Hospitality inclusion. Right. Uh, Going back to what I was saying about how Brother Paul, brought this guy in, welcoming newcomers, church, including those who feel left out. Um, I'm sure a lot of us have had that feeling at other. Not talking about anybody's church or anything. Everybody's got home right somewhere, but sometimes we feel like that. We feel left out when we go. We want community. We want to find a group, a small group, or something like that. We just feel left out. But yeah, that's another way, helping somebody feel welcome, comfort, warmth, right? To people who's been, we've all been through stuff. We can just relate to them, and they can just feel comfortable and welcome. Just, all right, this is where I belong. Another volunteer, go ahead. And that's a tough one right there. Patience, responding with grace when wronged, and that's actually something I'm working on myself right now. Like, I mean, it is what it is, right? We still have Jesus. Being patient with others. That's, well, can't say I'm impatient with others, but with a lot of people, I have a lot of patience. But probably the ones closest to me, I have the least amount of patience. And that's what sucks, right? It's kind of should be the opposite, right? Yeah, and that reflects Jesus forgave those who heard him and taught us to do the same until the day he lost his last breath, right, on the cross. So the last breath on his cross. Another volunteer, Juan. Let's go, Juan.
Encouragement, sending a text, card, or a prayer to someone. How it reflects Jesus' example. Jesus built others up and gave hope to the weary.
Mm. Sending a text, just something small, right? Another form of serving. Something small. Sending a text, a card. Man, you know what? It's weird. It's weird. Just today, and I'm not taking any credit for this. Man, I have been sending my devotionals out for about a year, right? And there's certain people that I'm like, man, this dude, what does he do? Does he just not read them, or but he's never said anything. He's never said stop, nothing like that, right? But the one that I sent out, there's a lot of you, I'm sure, got it, right? He came up to me at work, and he's from Houston. He's all like he talks a certain way, and he's f this, f that, nah, but man, he's loud and he's out there, right? He's very animated. He came up to me and goes, dude, man, Stephen, thank you so much for that text this morning. And that shocked me because he's not, uh, he doesn't, he doesn't, he doesn't have a close relationship with Jesus, right? And I love the guy. And that's how I serve right there. One of my main ways of serving is just trying to reach somebody, whether it takes an hour or a year or 5 years, just consistency, right? And he came and he was so grateful for that text message. He said, I'm going through something. He goes, I was so impatient. I was so upset, so angry. And he didn't get into detail about anything, but it reminded him of, he knows something. He was in prison too. He knows something about the Bible because we tend to turn to that. It kills a lot of time reading the Bible when you're in prison, and it goes by so good, right? Um, he knows something about it. He was just like, yeah, you reminded me how we have to be humble, patient, and just, you know, responding with grace, um, and sending it to the, anyway. Going to these two right here because I sent him that text, and he was so, just impacted by it. So, prayer, someone discouraged. I used to get so awkward. It was just so weird for me when people would come up to me and ask me if they could pray for me, and I was like, I'm good, I'm all right. Come on, let me pray for you, and I'm like, I want to do this, right? Um, Now it's like it helps. It's it's serving. You're serving. Um, Another volunteer. Yeah, go ahead.
What it looks like today, volunteering time, clean, babysit, how it reflects watch his disciples.
Yeah, and to us, it's nothing big, right? Donating a little bit of food. Most of us probably have a crap load of food in our pantries, in our houses, but the little things like that we don't, we forget sometimes. Like, I mean, I was there. I had nothing. I didn't have toilet paper. My kids couldn't wipe themselves. They couldn't, we had to, it was horrible, right? You donate little things like that. Go to somebody's house and just clean a little bit. Your mom's house, or your sister, your kids. Your kids might be older kids. Go to their house and clean up a little bit, just, just like Jesus washed the disciples' feet. Practical needs, just simple stuff that we all need. But, for somebody else to do it for us, it feels great. It feels great. Um, One more. Go ahead.
Defending those treated unfairly, advocating for justice. Jesus stood with those
The marginalized,
and
right? Standing up for those who are treated unfairly, right? And what comes to my mind when I read this was, again, children with special needs, right? A lot of them can't speak for themselves. Um, my girlfriend's son has Down syndrome. Most of y'all know, and he can't come home and tell us when somebody, or somebody did something to him or whatever. We check him out all the time. We we question him all the time. Just the other day, he came home and we thought somebody hit him. He even said somebody hit him. Um, Turned out he had pink eye. Just, but thank you, Jesus. Right? That's all it was. Um, we got to be their voice. We got to stand up for them. We have to protect them. All right. Thank you all for reading that. Um, so some of the practical applications here. Um, Starting to serve. If y'all don't serve, or y'all feel weird about it, just start off small. Ask yourself, who can I serve today? Again, going back to family or a good friend, right? A good friend that may be going through a hard time and they got a lot on their plate. Again, go over, wash the dishes, whatever it is, right? Again, there's not a list of things to do to serve. It's just think about it. And one of the hardest things, again, is to do it with joy. You'll get there. You'll get there. I promise you will. Again, I used to be like, oh, I used to do it before it was Stephen BC, right? I used to go to church. I want to serve. I want to serve, and I tried it one time. It wasn't here. It was another church, and I was like, man, it's Sunday. I just want to hurry up and go to church so I can go eat, because that was the thing. Go eat after church. And then I started. I would serve, and then I would just serve so they would feed me over there. It was always a potluck. If we served, we got a meal. Like, yeah, I don't have to go buy food for my family, right? We get to eat for free here. But no, once you start doing it enough, you find joy in it. It reflects Christ's love. I mean, there's so many different things to do around. The Purpose Lab was a good thing, and there's a bunch of us here, like I mentioned earlier, we don't even know that we have these talents. Um, serving on the safety team, we still sometimes, again, I get told all the time, oh, you're good at this, you're good at that, whatever. I don't see it, but other people see it in me, and I'm just gonna just keep going because it brings me joy. It brings me joy. I like doing it. I serve coffee. When I started here, it was nothing but women in the cafe, and to be quite honest, I came in here because of a woman. But I get a lot of joy out of it now. I love being here. I'm here from 6:30 in the morning or 6:15 in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I love being here because it gets well, I won't get into that, but it's awesome. I love it. I get a lot of joy out of it. Um, Shift perspective. No act of service is beneath you. Again, washing feet. When I went to retreat for Cultivate, I went to retreat. It was my first ministry, my first time doing ministry, and and I knew nothing about it. I was with a very experienced, very seasoned ministry leader. The first thing that we did, it was Ruben. She was like, "Okay, Stephen, go ahead and wash his feet," and I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Wow!" And I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, but the results of it, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was awesome, and he talks about it till this day. You do something small like that and it impacts somebody so big. It's awesome. And then the joy of it afterwards. um so yeah, no act of service is beneath you. Don't ever feel like again, back in the days, I'm not doing that, that's below me. I got people to do that for me. I don't do that kind of work. That's not the way Jesus thought. Inviting others, serving multiplies when it's contagious. Serving multiplies when it's contagious. Well, I get what it's saying though. Right? It sounds kind of weird, right? It doesn't. It's just me. Invite others. Serving multiplies when it's contagious. So yeah, it does. Um, Again, when I came here, um, I was influenced by Justin. He was always here, always here, always here. Before I went to prison, I came out. He was still here. He was here when I went to prison. Came out. He was still here serving, and he wasn't here for one service. He's here all freaking day, and then he's over here breaking everything down, and he does everything. He does. It's awesome, right? It's not beneath any of us. It's not beneath us. It's awesome, and it's contagious. There's plenty of people that serve now. Hector started here. He was, yeah, Hector started here. He came from another church that he had a hard time leaving, and we understand. He had community there too. He had brothers and influences there. He came over here, prayer warrior, man. And I think a lot of us saw that in him. Sorry, I'm calling everybody out here. Joaquin, he did a great job. He was a different man when I met him. He was negative. He was negative. He was doubtful. He was negative. He was just like, oh, and I think his sister, I don't want to say forced him. Maybe she did. I don't know. Threw it on him. Come do Cultivate, and bam, Joaquin's all over the place now, serving with all his heart, man, and it just brings him so much joy. You see the joy in his face when he serves others. It's awesome. So yeah, it's contagious. It's awesome. Gilbert back here, one of the only other guys I see back here. There's other guys, but I see Gilbert back here serving coffee too, cleaning up. It's not below us. It's not beneath us. We got to wash dishes. All the dishes people leave back here. We gotta wash them. We gotta wash them. We serve in the cafe. We gotta wash them. We gotta put them away. I hate doing dishes, but I do them here. Do them here more than I do them at home. Um, all right. Oh, yeah, that's so. We're gonna move on to the discussion questions. So, in your relationships with one another, have the same mindset as Christ Jesus. This is really hard for a lot of us. And in relationships, it doesn't mean only your wife or only your girlfriend. I mean, all relationships. Guys, kids, mothers, brothers, sisters, cousins, all your relationships have the same mindset as Jesus Christ. It'll change your life. It'll change your life thinking like, I'm still working on it. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not patting my own back because I'm working on this right now. Mindset is Jesus Christ. I ask him to make me more like him every day. I'm not going to be him ever, but the more you walk with Christ, the better things get for you in life. So there's one more verse that I wanted to close with, before we go to discussion questions, of course, the challenge of the week. Everybody has to do it. You're obligated. Just kidding. You're really not, but you're really not. But I'd like to try to obligate y'all. It's not as fun though. It's not as you don't bring as much joy. So the last verse is Matthew 25:40. Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of the brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. So doing a lot of us pass up a lot of, and I say opportunities because it brings a lot of happiness, a lot of joy, and ultimately you're glorifying God with this. You're glorifying God to be closer to Him. Again, Jesus Christ died on the cross for each and every one of us, every single person in this entire world, every soul. He did that. He shed His blood. And He still asked God to forgive them, for they know not what they do, right? He did that for every single one of us. Why is it so hard for us to do that for just one person sometimes? Our wife. That's the next most important relationship right now. Your wife, girlfriend, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm speaking as if this is, y'all are all married, but yeah. So basically, again, it's pretty plain and simple. Whatever we do to serve the lowest in our eyes, right? Think of it as we're doing it for Jesus Christ, because we are doing it for Him. Nobody's really beneath us, right? But sometimes we tend to think that when we see a homeless person, person of less fortunate, right? Like we're hesitant, right? And we have a big, huge community here, homeless community. We just have to, we still serve them. We give them free donuts, coffee, everything. Again, it's act of service, humility, humbleness, right? Yeah. So the challenge of the week, right here. We'll break out to our discussion questions, but I want y'all to ponder on this right here for the week. This week, choose one intentional way to serve like Jesus. Intentional, and again, or challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to do something you don't really want to do. I don't know. Everybody, there's some people like I love helping people. I love doing it. Brings a lot of joy. I get in trouble for it. My girlfriend's like, well, yeah, but you got stuff to do here at home, and I'm like, Jesus says, put everyone else's needs before mine, right? So, and we struggle with that. She's not telling me not to, but she tells me, she always starts with, I know your heart to serve, and I love the heart that you have to serve, but, and I'm, all right, here we go. But anyway, right? Just challenge yourself to do something that you don't really want to do. I don't mean like go kill somebody, and don't do anything too crazy, right? But like whatever it is, you don't like changing tires. You see somebody on the side of the road, help them change their tire. And there's been plenty of times in my past where I'm driving, I'm looking, and I'm like, man, I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm on my way to work, or I'm on my way home from work, or I'm on my way over here. And I did it the other day. I didn't come to Brothers of Courage 2 weeks ago. I think the prayer one. I didn't come to them. That was so important for me to be there. But another brother of courage needed my help, and I sacrificed being here to help him out. So I was on my way over here, and I went straight to his house, helped him out. I missed it. I missed the class, but the slides are there, and I even shared them with somebody at work today. He was asking about it. Somebody else told him about it too. But again, yeah, find a way to serve. Find a way to serve. It's great. It's I love it. I get a lot of joy out of it. So yeah, that's the challenge. So when we come back next week, whoever's speaking, he's going to ask you how y'all served. You're speaking, right? He's going to ask y'all how y'all served for the week. So be ready. All right. Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, everybody.